Welcome
to the Two Travelers in Mexico.
Hi, it's Mark and Paulette, and on our last video we talked about permanent residency and driving in Mexico, and I had said that you could, if you had a permanent residency, you can only drive in certain conditions, which is true. However, I wanted to point out that you can drive your car on a permanent residency as long as the owner, who is actually listed on the tip, is only on a temporary residency.
And that they've got to be related, right? You have to be related to them or something, is that what you said? And you have to have permission.
Right, you have to have permission, and it's basically just family. And someone suggested that it would be a good idea that if you carried a marriage certificate in a vehicle, just in case you needed some proof.
But I think our names are the same, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. I mean, I could see if it was a daughter who got married driving her dad's car or something, then I could see some kind of proof or something. But your name is the same as mine, and we're usually together when we're driving.
That's true.
So, but it is a known fact that they do tell you that if you are permanent, that you cannot drive a foreign plated vehicle there.
Right. You cannot. You have to if you're a permanent resident hoping to import your vehicle, you have to, go through a special customs agent to import your vehicle. You cannot just drive it into Mexico because that won't be allowed.
So you need your tip.
So
and your Mexican car insurance.
And your Mexican car insurance.
Right.
Exactly.
You got too much sun on you?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Okay, the other thing is, what is it? The Baja Peninsula?
Certain areas in Mexico are free zones where you don't really have to register your vehicle.
You don't have to get a tip,
or anything like that.
Right, it's like Baja California, Baja Sur.
Right, some places in Sonora, it's within a few miles of the
border.
Roo,
I think, is another one.
I think it is,
yeah. But the thing is, and Sonora. Sonora is another one too, but like if you go outside of the free zone area of Sonora, you do need to get, what was it, a Sonora permit or something.
Right.
And if you go outside of that realm, then you need to get a tip. And it's the same thing with the Baja Peninsula area. You, get away from me. Fly. And it's the same thing with the Baja Peninsula area. If you go outside of that free zone, you also are going to need to get a tip. Right?
Yeah. Once you cross the border into Mexico, even on a temporary visa, you're given 30 days to, they give you the tip paperwork and they put a sticker in your car, but now I think it's just an electronic thing. But you have 30 days from the time you cross the border till you get to the city where you're going to be staying to finish the process of registering your vehicle and also finish the process on your temporary or permanent visa too. Well, you don't have to finish it necessarily, but you have to initiate the process.
You have to start it by that 30th day. So I always suggest do it early because you just don't know what can get in the way during that 30-day process. So I always say do it as early as you can. Another thing too that we learned is that, like, Mark's going to be going to permanent. I'm going to renew my temporary visa that is 1 year. His was 1 year also, but he's going to go straight to permanent. So after he does that, there's no more anything that he has to do with that. It's a done deal. For me, I'm going to renew mine for 3 years at one time. And that will also connect with my tip when we drive back into Mexico. We've got to make it so that tip coincides. As long as my temporary residency visa is good, so will my tip be. It'll go along with it. It'll connect as one with my temporary residency visa.
Hang on.
And one other thing too is that I think he's checking our camera to see how it's doing. One other thing too is that if you do become a permanent resident in Mexico, you can go to the SAT, and I forget what that stands for. Sorry, we'll look it up and put it
in the description.
In the description. But anyhow, you can go there and ask for like a permit where you can have 5 days to drive your car out either in Belize and sell it or do whatever you're going to do, or in the United States. They give you 5 days to do that once you get your permit.
And another important thing to remember is that while you're driving in Mexico,
me nuts.
Very important to have
Stop it.
Mexican auto insurance. Because a lot of times the United States auto insurance won't be recognized in Mexico, so you really have to carry Mexican auto insurance. And we did a whole video on that too.
Yeah, we have both. We have both, and because we went to South Dakota, which we talk about, to become residents, it took 24 hours to do. You know, that way it just worked out really well for us because he's retired, and South Dakota is one of those non-state.
Yeah, they don't take state.
They don't take state income tax from your check. So anyhow, so we became South Dakota residents, and I forgot where I was going with this.
Well, while she's remembering where she was going with this, I'll tell you that I'll put a link to those 2 videos that we did in the description. If you want to take a look at those videos.
With this? I was going somewhere with this.
If you like what we're doing, please subscribe and
hit the bell, click the bell, ding the bell if you like what we're doing, like Mark says, and you'll be notified every time that we put out a new video, and you can follow us on our videos to see what we're doing, where we're at, what's happening, what kind of mistakes we're making, what we find out in Mexico.